Good afternoon from Melbourne, Australia. Today is Monday the 8th of March. We have a public holiday and I thought I'd quickly jump on here and update you because I'm having such a big sock month. So before I dip into the next pick, my little game that I'm playing, I thought I'd update you on a few things that are going on in the sock world in general. I'm recuperating from a cold, so please forgive the throat clearing, and I might take the odd sip of water just to keep me going. Not a long thing today, just a quick update on what I'm doing. So I think the last time I spoke to you, I'm going to do a sock review on the Opal sock yarn. Here we go. And the crazy boys that I spoke about last time. So let's go for it. I remember I started to knit some socks last week, and I said the colors were just amazing of these crazy boys by Schoppel, and I said to you they all had these really classic German names, so I thought I need my glasses for this one. I thought I'd read you out the names. So we've got Frank Walter, so classic. Olaf, we had an Olaf lifesaver and everybody was crazy about him. Helmut, Joachim, Gerhard, this is the name also of the owner of this company. Christian, oh, got Olaf again, snuck in there. Anyway, there are 10 different colors here. Konrad and Willi and Ludwig, and there are 10 colors, right? And we had some fun at work. We were wondering, who are these people? Are they people who work on the factory floor, or did they just grab some classic German names out of the air to mention these? But they are great fun. They are 50-gram balls of regular sock yarn. They have he's always got so many labels on, and I never know where to find what information. Let me see if I found it now. How many meters do they have on the ball? 200 meters. 200 meters on the ball, 50 gram. It's quite a robust sock yarn, I have to tell you. And this is generally not my favorite sock yarn. I'm not a big fan of the Admiral, I like the Admiral and I like the Admiral Druck. They're nice, but the other ones like the crazy, I've knitted a few socks and then it's not my favorite sock yarn. But anyway, we'll talk about this now. So these are the fabulous colors that are available, called Crazy Boys by Schoppel. And big drum roll, here we have Willi and Konrad, forever joined in holy sockmany. What I did was, it's obvious what it's just a vanilla sock. And the one I did pink in the beginning, and then the other one I did green. But what I thought was really, really interesting about these two was that how differently they play together. Like just making the pink the main color, and then the green, it's just such a huge difference. You can see that there is also variation in the color gradient on the pink. You can see it on the pink more than you can see it on the green. But the most exciting thing about this was that I did this little old-fashioned stitch here where when you change colors, so I've just used green. So when I introduce pink, I go slip one green, knit a pink, slip a green, knit a pink. And you know what? The jog. There was no jog. And anybody who's knitted stripes So let me find, okay, here, I think it's here, yep. Over here, you can see it over there because I didn't do that on the front, but look along there. That's the beginning and the end of the round, and I did nothing. I just changed color, and I either slipped the first one or I knitted the one and then slipped the next one. So either way, there would have been a slip stitch at the beginning of the round or the end of the round. So that was a lovely little thing that I found out. So these are the crazy. While I was knitting it, I thought, I didn't, but well, after I washed it, it bloomed and washed up really nicely. So I'm happy I did them. It's quite a robust sock yarn. I would highly recommend them. Have some fun, mix up the colors. So that's them there, and the pair of socks that I knitted. So I can take them in tomorrow to work and just have them as sample socks with the yarn. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed like just doing it and doing something completely different with it. And then I'm also going to give a review on the Opal socks, but I'm not allowed to buy any more Opal yarn. I've got enough, but I'll tell you about it. But before I go there, I'll quickly show you my flying tortoise socks, which I was going to knit them on the flight back from Africa, but we won't go there. I didn't have a good flight. But I did baptize them, flying tortoise, and they were dyed by my friend Clinton, whose sock yarn is called 2-Dye 4, Klein Toon se Breiwinkel. Oh, and I think they were dyed on African Expressions sock yarn, which is called Soul. It's a really nice sock yarn, soft and just beautiful. Its composition is 15% kid mohair, 15% mulberry silk, 50% merino, and 20% polyamide. There's 400 meters to 100 grams, but these Soul, when you buy it commercially, if I'm not wrong, you buy 50-gram balls, but maybe they do sell them in 100-gram hanks. I'm not 100% sure, but here it is, 2-Dye 4. And without much ado, here are my flying tortoise socks. The work actually disappears into the sock. So I did a cable on one side of the sock, and then I put a slip stitch either side of the cable. I did knit a left and a right because I do anatomically correct toes, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So those are them, and I think they'll make some really nice winter socks. So I'll just quickly take one off my sock blocker so I can show you. When you put the anatomically correct toes on the sock blocker, it doesn't really work. So this is how I knit my socks, well, when I knit for myself. The other one, these ones are just I'll take this one off so you can see the difference. These ones are just very straightforward toes. That's the bottom, look there, not bad. So these ones are just the very regular toe shaping that most people use. I always do a slip stitch heel. I always cast on over 2 needles. It makes it nice and stretchy to get it on your foot. And let me give you some more tips. When you knit the heel flap, however many stitches you've cast on, for example, you've cast on 64 stitches, your heel flap will consist of half of those, which is 32, and then the amount of rows that you knit, it's 32. And then because you slip the first stitch of every row, you you pick up 16 along the side of the heel flap, but I pick up 17 so that I don't have a hole over there. It just means that I've got one extra row to do on the gusset, which is really absolutely not a problem. Anyway, so that's that. Quick tips. These ones here, if you want to know how to do it, when I get to the base of my big toe, which is a good rule of thumb, or however long you want it, but generally the base of the big toe is where you start your toe shaping. So on the one side only, I do very normal, like just your SSK. It's very difficult to see on this yarn. Wait, there it is. Just my SSK, knit one, knit two together. Very plain and simple. Every second row, I do that for 9 or 10 times, say 9. And then I start on this side and I do the same kind of shaping, like SSK and knit two together, but I do it on both sides, every row, about 5 times. What you want in the end over here is you want to Kitchener stitch together about 12 stitches back and front. So it's 24 stitches. You have 12 stitches for the bottom and 12 stitches for the top. So that'll give you a Kitchener stitch, enough stitches to Kitchener stitch. So that was that. So those were those ones, which I'm happy to report they are done. Where's my other one? Did I put it here somewhere? I don't know where I put it now. Oh, here it is. So this here, this is a bag that I wove, and then I just embroidered some abstract little flowers on it. But this bag holds the socks that I did in the game that I'm playing. But I'm not going to show you this. I'm going to reveal this the next time I see you when I pick for my next project that I'm going to do. So here it is. I have started it. So it's over there. Then a lot of people love Opal sock yarn, and I'm one of those. I really do. I think it's one of the best commercial sock yarns available in retail stores. I love the way it knits up. I love the way it wears. It washes really well. And most of all, the story attached to it is absolutely fabulous. So it's a German company. I'm sorry. And they, all the work is done in Germany, and they digitally print patterns onto their sock yarn. So I'll just grab one. Let's grab the one this one, for example. So this is Opal, and it wasn't going to grab that one. Why did I only bring these? Okay, I'll show you. Then on the side of their labels, they always give you an idea of what the sock is going to look like. But given that the sock is probably knitted on a sock machine, so it's going to look a little bit different, right? But they come out with series. So it's a German company, family run. Everything gets done in Germany, and they're really a fun company. Like if you had to go to their website and just see what they do, it's just a really fun company. They bring out series. So they will bring out a series, like the one that's in the shop at the moment that I'm dying to have a look at is called Feuerwerk, which is fireworks. So they'll bring out 2, 4, 6, I think six or 8 colorways in a series, and that series is called Fireworks, and then they will give them really quirky names, all of those. But once that series is gone, it's gone, right? So if you're wanting to knit a garment in Opal, for example, you would have to plan really well because, as I said, once it's gone, it's gone. It's a regular sock yarn. It's, I think, 75% wool and 25% polyamide. And it's got 400, is it 400 or 420? I think it's 420 meters to the ball. If I don't find a correction, then that's 425 meters on the ball. It's a 4-ply sock yarn. You can knit really, you know, those old-fashioned socks that kind of come halfway up your calf, where you do some decreases down the back. You can do that. There's enough yarn here. Whenever I knit a pair of socks with this, I have at least 25 grams left. So there's heaps. You can knit a big man sock, like somebody who's 72 stitches and maybe has a size 10 or 11 foot. I reckon this would be enough. Okay, that's enough of that. But I want to tell you about the story of these guys. When they bring out series, which they call like Fireworks or Beauty or Magic Forest or something like that, but they also bring out other ones. And the ones that I love the most, and clearly I love it a lot because I brought two along, I'm bringing out these two. You will see, I hope it's the right way around when you look at it. Anyway, so these two here are part of what's called Regenwald-Serie. So it's the Tropical Forest series, and they bring these out, I'm not sure how many times a year, but certainly once a year. And then they give a certain amount of the money from the Rainforest series goes to tropical rainforest preservation. And so far, they have already given 317,000 euro to save the rainforest. And so whenever this one comes in, I feel like I need to support them. And they always have beautiful, so let me see what this one is called. Okay, they have beautiful names. So this one says Regenwald-Serie 21, so I think it's the 21st time they're doing it. Auf großer Fahrt, on a big journey. And this one is called Ahoy Seeleute, hello sea people. And then this one is called, oh, they're so cute, man. I really love it when people do this. So this is also part of the Regenwald 21, on a big journey. And this one is called Ship's Mechanic. But it's a German, it's the lady, like Mechanica would be a mechanic man, and if it's Mechanikerin, then it's a lady. And this one is Schiffsmechanikerin, so it's the lady version of a ship's mechanic. And then they have pictures, I'm assuming, let me see, vierfach. So I think it's a beautiful story, and I love when I support it. And when we sell it in the shop, somebody will come up to the counter with an opal, and then when I tell them the story, then they go back and they go and fetch one from the tropical rainforest color, because it's such a nice story. And then they also have the license to use Hundertwasser. So they can use inspiration from Hundertwasser paintings, and so this one would be from the Hundertwasser, and it is, I can never find the names on this thing, I don't know, it's probably because I can't see. This one is just color 2104. I thought they gave them names, anyway. So this would be from the Hundertwasser series, so they're inspired by Hundertwasser paintings, would be this one, right? And then they brought out a series where it was Beauty and Balance, where they had Edelweiss extract in it. And I have to tell you, when I can feel the Edelweiss extract. I don't know how much of it is in there. Let's have a look and see. Beauty Balance mit Edelweiss extract. Selbsterkenntnis. Oh, so these are like, you know, when you go Schurwolle, Polyamid, Heilpflanze des Jahres, super soft. I don't know how much they put in, but it's got to be enough, because mit Edelweiss Extrakt aus kultiviertem Anbau, and vitamin A. That's very important because it's cultivated as opposed to plundering the natural resource with vitamin E. I like that. They seem to have an ecological conscience. And then the one that, have I said I've had a favorite? I think this is my favorite. This one here. This is the Schafpate. So once a year, in Germany, you have a thing called Wanderschäferei. And it's like wandering shepherds. They keep the heaths under control and things like that. And they're called Langohr Merino, so long ear merino. I don't know that much about sheep, but anyway. So they've been working together with the wandering shepherds, and they've been also breeding those merino to have more and more finer yarn, because they used to have quite a high micron count, but they've managed to do breeding programs where it's a better micron count. And they do once a year, I think it's once a year, they do a collaboration with the local shepherds, with local German sheep and sheep. So it's so cute. So this time they really went out of their way, because they actually put portraits of sheep on the label, which was super cute. So this was Schafpate 16. So I'm going. It's the 16th time that they've done this with the wandering sheep. So that's it. If you're looking for commercial sock yarn, this one would be at the top of my list, only because of the story attached to it. So that's it. So I must say I do like it. And when I travel, not that I travel all the time, but when I travel, if I find a wool store anywhere, I'll go in and see if they've got any Opal sock yarn, and I'll buy one for a souvenir. Anyway, that's it. I think that's about all that my voice can deal with. But did I explain to you that wool is digitally printed? Well, it is, which is why they can kind of tell this is what it's going to look like. So before I end off, I'm just going to introduce you to the latest book that I'm reading. It's I read it a long time ago when it came out in the 90s. But I wasn't a weaver or I'm not really a spinner. I wasn't a weaver or a pretend spinner. So I've started reading it again, and it's completely different. And I would recommend it to anybody. If you're interested in women and women's work, get the book. It's absolutely fantastic. But I was reading it, and all of a sudden, I came to this part that blew me away. So I don't know if you want to hang around while I read this, and I'll read it to you, and we'll see. It's toward the end of the Paleolithic era, some 10,000 years ago, the way women in particular lived their lives began to change dramatically as the result of a seemingly small but new idea. Heretofore, families had always been on the move, shifting from one temporary abode to another as sources of ready food came and went with the seasons. Now, as the great ice sheets and the vast herds of tundra animals retreated northward across Europe, some humans in the rapidly warming south stopped following the animals and began to settle down, obtaining their food locally. The era that followed, with its multitude of cultural changes, we call the Neolithic or New Stone Age. These settlers didn't know it. They would not have possessed such a concept yet, but this life of permanent abodes started the greatest pyramid scheme of all time. A pyramid scheme starts small and gets bigger and bigger, leaving the last people to pay for all. When you settle down, you begin to acquire things to make your survival and that of your children easier. Soon you need more tools and helpers, offspring, to care for the ever-increasing number of things and surviving children. At the end of the Paleolithic, around 8000 BCE, the entire continent of Europe contained scarcely 500,000 people, roughly today's population of Florence, Italy, or Denver, Colorado. Population experts estimate that Earth as a whole had 5 million humans then, less than half of what Greater Los Angeles alone has today. It took the next 1,500 years for that number to double to 10 million. Today, by contrast, we are doubling our billions of world inhabitants in a mere 25 years and have nearly reached what will be the ultimate layer of this pyramid. One way or another, as we run out of fresh water and breathable oxygen, not to mention wood and metals, we find ourselves stuck with the final bill for some 500 generations of uncontrolled acquisition and child producing begun in the Neolithic. I found that so interesting. It just changed, like you just start to look at the world from a completely different viewpoint. So highly recommended. Give it a read. I mean, I don't know if you have to be a weaver or a crafter or what to enjoy it, but I think it's a fantastic book. So I'm going to say goodbye until I see you again. I've got about 2 weeks of really hectic work ahead of me. I'm going up to the Grampians next week to do a inkle loom course with Ilka, and straight after that I'm heading off to the back-to-back sheep contest at Tandy in the Western Districts, and I will give you a little rundown of the back-to-back the next time I see you, because I'll have a lot of things to tell you. In the meantime, be kind, make something beautiful with your hands. Until I see you again. Bye.